Hello everybody, we are back. Fubar here. I hope everyone is having a great day. And I hope all is going well in your life. So this is part 2 of the beginner's guide. As you can see right here, I'm in a Silver Tier Alliance at the moment. And we'll be joining another one at the end of Moscow, which is in another day, which me and a bunch of buddies are starting up on S29. So that being said, as a disclaimer, we're going to be jumping right into it. Last time we talked about units and everything else. Now we're going to start talking about officers and officer missions. So, officer missions are located right here by this clipboard. And if you go down to officer missions, as you can see, I don't have 4 or 5. That's because those are currently running, and as soon as you are able, I recommend you do officer missions level 4 and 5. These are critical missions. These help you level up your officers to level 60 really fast, because you'll get 200k XP books for your officers. Now, you also get officer statues for the following officers, which will be Spanner, White Wolf, and Bloody Mary. Because of these 3 officers getting free statues, I do not recommend you upgrading these officers with universal statues, which you can receive daily if you are VIP 12, 14. And I also believe there's another level there where you'll get 1 per day, which check that out real quick. But the reason why I say don't invest in these is because there's more important officers to invest in. Let me see here. This is, 2 a day. And, VIP level 10. So once you hit VIP level 10, those universal statues start coming in daily. And the officer I recommend you invest your universal statues into is an artillery officer, which will be Antonia Shevchenko. She is a powerhouse of an officer. She is awesome. She gives you an extra grid, super useful on any artillery, and phenomenal. Even she's from the start of the game, when the game first came out, she was a powerhouse. She's still a powerhouse today. But we're going to talk about a different officer in a second, and that will be War Machine, this fellow right here. He should be one of the first officers you should be focusing on maxing, and you could do him for free via your alliance. You want to go to your alliance store, and you want to buy his tokens. So, to buy 20 tokens of his every week, you need 3,900 alliance contribution coins to do so. So I recommend you do that, and you do that every week until he's awakened. Once he is awakened, you're good to go. He is a powerhouse of an officer, also, and great tank officer for the beginning of the game. Also another good officer because he's flexible to be used on artillery. So actually is a very good pairing with Antonina because of it. One, he does damage boost. His skill does a ton of damage. He also gives a reload boost, which is huge as well. Now, in the previous video, I mentioned that you should focus 1 unit and 1 unit only until it's maxed out. And that's including with modern technology, with the modernization. So that means from 4-star all the way up to 9.2. You should focus that 1 unit. Okay, for that 1 camp. Do not build units on a camp bouncing around. Now, we're going to be talking a little bit more in depth about unit building, and I'm going to give you an example right now because I'm actually currently working on a unit, and I'm working on my Marder Bomber, and I'm going to use that as an example. So as you can see right here, I have a 7.1 Marder Bomber. Now, I need to upgrade this to 7.2. I need 2 more 7.1s. Now, if you're new to the game, 9.2 is the highest, but for legacy units, the highest you can go is 7.2. So these other 6 units you can see with the little red dot on my screen are 6.5s. Now, you need 3 7-star units of the same type to go 7.1. Now, what I like to do is I like to, what I call, frame my units, which means I'll collect the 3 6.5s that I need in order for that unit to go to 7.1. So the core foundation is done. Then I can just build random units to upgrade them to 7-star and then to 7.1. So when you build 3 units of the same, you need to build another 6.5s to get that unit to 7.1. So as you see here, I got my framework done. Now I just got to build them all up to 7 stars, and then I got a 7.2 Martyr bomber. Now if we look over at Vanguard, I just need to build another 7.1 unit. And as you can see, I've already started collecting units and building them as I see efficiently. So probably my next unit that I will be building for this will probably be the heavy tank, because one, for Vanguard, for me, it drops the most often. And then I'll probably be using the Hummel as a filler unit, and so on and so forth. My Liberty, everything I build in Liberty right now is a sacrifice unit until my helicopter is 9.2. Now, we're going to cover officers that you're going to be starting with and as you unlock them and go. Okay? This is Valkyrie. She unlocks after 180 days. But we're going to start with Percy. Percy, she is a freebie officer. All her statues come for free. All you got to do is level her up to, or another officer to level 60, and you can instantly have her awakened. White Wolf, as I mentioned before, she is an infantry officer. Very good infantry officer at that. People in the past used her just to they would put her on an artillery unit just for her tactical skill because it did so much damage. Her fragmentation grenade was out of this world. Still good. But I would recommend only awakening her via the means of the officer missions. So that way you're not wasting unis and they can go to more important officers like Antonina. Antonina is another starting officer. You will get her for free. War Machine, also another starting officer. Spanner, another starting officer. Angel of Light is another starting officer. Tip of Spear is not a starting officer, but he comes out fairly quickly. Eruptor is a starting officer. And technically once your server gets to your first Moscow, you will get the Huntsman. Guardian of Truth, he is a pay-to-win officer. You can get him by buying his statues, by leveling up your VIP level, and he will cost roughly $250 USD roughly to awaken. Not recommended for everyone, but for me, I did him, and I'm not regretting it. He still holds up very well to this day. Death Adder, another starting officer. He's all right. His skills are kind of misunderstood. He is primarily meant for tank hunters. Bloody Mary, she is a flexible officer, and I would recommend her to light units and also rocket trucks, because her main skill is a stun, and she'll stun the target so that way they can't rush right at her and attack the rocket truck. She is also a free-to-play officer. You can awaken her via officer statues gained from officer missions, level 4s and 5s. And the rest of the officers here on ground units are all, they come out either at 180 days or 300 days. Brisk Eagle, one of the starting Air Force officers. Golden Pixie, another starting bomber officer. Very good. Heaven Savior, another starting officer. Wings of Glory, another starting fighter officer. And that is it for your starting officers. Now, back to building index, okay? We have covered it briefly before. So as you progress, you're going to notice that you're going to need to upgrade your CC, and in order to do that, you need to upgrade other buildings. So I recommend for your 3 units that you focus on first, because you got 3 camps, is Liberty. I would recommend, highly recommend, either a medium or an infantry unit. Then for Vanguard, I highly recommend the ATG or the medium. Okay? For Martyrs, I recommend either the rocket truck or the fighter. And same with Vanguard. I recommend the fighter too. The Vanguard fighter is really good. But those are the ones I recommend. Once you get those units that I recommended to 7.1, you start another one. And I would recommend after that for Liberty, I would recommend the Liberty Bomber. Then for Vanguard, I would recommend, well, if you chose the medium, I would choose the ATG. And if you didn't choose either one of those and you went with fighter, I would recommend a medium. Then for Martyr, I would recommend a howitzer. And rinse and repeat. We will be talking about units in the next episode, which will not, this will be the end of the beginner guide, because this is pretty much, you know, everything you really need to know going forward. Because I don't want to dictate how you play the game. I just want to give you advice and help you. So when you're doing these building index upgrades, only focus on 2 barracks, 1 hangar, and your reserve barracks, your engineering center, your research center, your walls, your towers, and your AA gun. Once that's done, you're good to go. Okay, once you hit level 32. Also, do not worry about base skins. We'll cover that in another video. We'll cover how to be a whale with light spending, all of that, okay? Now, when you get into the research center, you want to study industry so you can unlock more trucks for collection, because you gotta grind out those resources for that. And military, you want to focus so that you can buff up your units and get them to higher levels so you can max out your campaign faster. City honor, so you can earn city contribution badges faster, and also earn extra gold, and also those universal statues. I hope everyone is having a great day, and I'm sorry for this short video, but that is all. Have a good one.